What's going on, people, and welcome to a brand new episode of Too Many Games and Not Enough Time, where I get to speak to incredible gamers across the globe. Once again, huge congratulations to our winner of a next-gen console. I can't believe I was able to give away a whole next-gen console. That is a Mazza. But on today's episode, we have a winner. Yes, this one is always winning things. She is a Twitch streamer, the biggest Pokemon fan. You can catch her eating and streaming, and she's got the sickest cabin I have ever seen in my life. Sama, aka Pakichu, welcome to Too Many Games. How are you doing this morning?
Yeah, very well, thank you. What an intro! Oh my god.
Yeah, come on, I have to give you your props. All right, let's get straight into it. Mm-hmm. What the hell is a Betty Spagetti?
Do you know what a Betty Spagetti is?
What the hell is a Betty Spagetti? Break it down
Betty
to me.
Spagetti was a toy. It was a doll that I used to have when I was a kid, and she used to be really long and lanky, really stringy, like spaghetti. And I feel like, if I remember correctly, you could take off bits of her and replace it, so you could change her clothes and stuff.
Sama, you sure you didn't make this up?
No, I'm 100% sure Betty Spagetti is a thing.
I think you made this up, No, I don't believe this is a real
Google
thing.
It, I promise you.
I was like, what is this Betty Spagetti thing she keeps talking about?
No,
cracking
I promised you.
Up.
I promise.
What's super dope here, so we've only met recently, seen each other at quite a few gaming events, and in person you're pretty quiet. You know me, I'm loud, I'm a total chatterbox, but you're actually quite quiet in person. And what was really interesting to me is watching your streams and seeing obviously a lot more of your personality. And you're not loud in your streams, you're still quite tame, but how much of a chatterbox you are. I didn't expect that. I did not know you could chat so much. You are hella chatterbox. But I want to know, what is it that made you want to start streaming? What made you say that, this is something that I'd love to do with my life?
Okay, really and truly, I think one of the main reasons I started streaming was because I don't actually have too many IRL friends who play games. Well, I had none. No girlfriends that play games. Anyone I met that played games was probably through my brother or through Tony. So I just thought, I started watching Twitch streamers and obviously getting involved in communities and stuff. And I just thought it's a really good way to make friends, to meet people, to play games with, to talk games with. So that was one of the main sort of reasons I started streaming. And then I found that, I've made some really good friends. I've met a lot more people, like yourself, and obviously the people that we meet at these events and stuff like that. And I think that was one of the main sort of motivations behind it, just to meet people, just to be involved in the gaming community a bit more, because I really wasn't. And then I really liked it.
That's dope, because it's so funny, because obviously people feel especially older generation people, they're oh no, gamers, they just sit in a basement or a cabin and they don't interact with anybody. But you saying actually this love of gaming and what you enjoy has actually made you be able to meet more people and have gaming friends now, and people that you can actually speak to in IRL about gaming. And I say to people all the time, I don't even go out anymore. I only go to gaming events. It's very rarely I go to a club or go outside, unless it's someone's birthday or something. But I'm not even out like that. If I'm out, I'm at a gaming event. My circle of people, my friends that are from outside the industry, I hardly see them now. Most of the people that I'm interacting with are people within the gaming industry. All right, Sal, what is the fascination about Pokemon. Now I know she is, when I'm saying this girl, anywhere she goes, she is getting something Pokemon. Anywhere. Like, she's got the sickest
Literally.
Pokemon ball that I'm so jealous about. I don't know why I didn't buy it. And I was watching one of your TikToks earlier on, and you had to a car boot sale and picked up a Charmander. Like, where did this love of Ash and his captured pets come from?
All right, so I think a lot of people will roll their eyes at this, but initially, right, it was just that obviously they're cute, like before they evolve and everything, they're very cute. So obviously they draw you in. But then obviously as I started learning more about obviously evolutions and playing the games, and I just think it's a really fun idea. I wish that in real life I could run around and capture pets and just keep them with me all the time.
Yeah, people do it with birds. It's evil. Stop putting birds in cage.
No, I don't think. Yeah, I don't want to put anything in like a tiny ball, but I do think it's it's just cute, isn't it? Like the idea of having a little companion, and but initially, if I'm being completely honest, it was just, the cuteness draws me in. And then from there, obviously you play the games, you learn more about the world, and I just love it. I think it's a great idea.
So did you start with the anime or the games? And what is your favorite Pokemon game?
So I did. Do you know what? I watched the anime when I was young, but it was one of those things where I just watched it because it was on TV, and I didn't. Because growing up, it wasn't a very gamery household. So my first console was a PS2, and that's, for my age, that should not have been the case. There were plenty of other consoles I could have had, but so I didn't really grow up in a gamery household. So I did used to watch the anime on TV and stuff, but I didn't kind of take in that there was more to this. So it was just something I was watching as a kid. Oh, this is fun, this is cute. And then as I got older, then I started buying some of the games. I was like, oh, I used to watch that, let me play this. I think I had a Pikachu 3DS as well, and I've lost my train of thought now.
That's cool. So what's your? I could see you trying to rope it back in.
Where am I going with this?
I know you're trying to make it land, right? It's cool.
Where am I going with this?
So what would be your favorite Pokemon game? Because you see me, I'm an old school don, yeah. I'm a big RPG guy. Final Fantasy, that's my thing. So when it came to playing Pokemon games, they were a bit baby first RPG for me, and so I couldn't really I wish I love Pokemon like other people. I appreciate it, but I don't have that same love of the games that other people do. I'll play them, and then I think the game that probably stands out most to me, which isn't even proper Pokemon, was Pokemon Stadium on the N64, when you got them rocking each other. What would be the Pokemon game that kind of stands out to you?
It's very difficult for me to pick one. I think if I had to say one, I'd probably go back.
It doesn't even have to be your favorite, just one that's important
that
to you.
Stands out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so one that actually stands out, I guess, then, because I don't think I can pick a favorite, but one that does stand out is Pokemon. I can't even speak. Is it Arceus?
That's really it. That's dope, yeah. Because I was gonna ask you about that.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'm not the biggest Pokemon fan, but Arceus really stood out to me because it kind of was the Pokemon game that I wanted. I want to run around. I want to battle in real time. That's the one that's the first Pokemon game that's really sucked me in.
Yeah, do you know what it is? I think one of the reasons it stands out to me is because, you know, I was saying I want to like run around in real life and I want to be like, oh, I want you, and you know, I choose you. And so it felt a bit more like that. Like, you know, it's a 3D world and like you're running around in a big open world. There's Pokemon everywhere. Like, I think that's why it stands out. And also, it was very different. Like, it kind of just changed up the format of the games, so that's why I think it does stand out to me.
Yeah,
And
I think it's so good, and I think a lot of people kind of underrate what they've done, because Pokemon games have been very samey for a very very long time. Like if you look at
yeah,
like Yellow is that's probably one of the first ones I remember playing because I like Pikachu. And then if we look at something like Scarlet, it's not that much of a change from the evolution, and then Arceus is the first one that for me proper changed up the formula, and I think they did really well with it. All right, so the world's been a mazza for the last 3 years, like pure madness. But one thing about us gamers is we're used to being inside and banging hours on the
yeah.
game. So for us, it was almost like, oh, amazing. I don't have to worry about the outside stress. Let me just enjoy a game. What was one of the, no, give me two actually. What was two of the pinnacle games that you really got into throughout the pandemic? So let's say in the last 3 years.
Okay, this one's quite easy. So throughout the pandemic, I was very heavy on World of Warcraft. Like, I went full World of Warcraft mode. I was playing all day, up all night, you know, full gamer mode. I'll just sit here in my dressing gown, play World of Warcraft. Also, I think the other one I started playing during lockdown was Breath of the Wild, because I didn't play it originally. I watched, so this is the problem with having a partner who games also, because when games come out, you both want to play them, but a lot of the time you end up watching most of the gameplay. So I had watched most of the gameplay, Tony had finished it, so I didn't play it immediately, but then yeah, I picked it up, I think, in the last couple of years. And that's a game, it's a very big game, so there's a lot to do. I'm one of these people that gets very sidetracked on side missions, and I want to get all the collectibles, and so that was something that also saw me through like the past few years also. Yeah.
That's dope. So what's I love is World of Warcraft is huge. Massive, massive MMO. And when I go to like esports events and stuff like that, you don't see, it's not very diverse when it comes to games like World of Warcraft. You see a lot of like leagues the same, all of those kind of games. You don't see a lot of diverse fans. So when you was playing and streaming, was it dope to kind of for the audience to be able to see you, because you're not a white blonde girl from Essex,
No, I'm
or
not.
or some white guy called Ian. So was it great for your audience to actually see like, Rod, this is a game that is never really kind of shown diverse audience playing it, and you've been able to get sucked into it?
Yeah, I think so. I think the interesting thing was, I noticed when I was streaming World of Warcraft, I had a lot more like random people just pop in, and it may be, I guess at the time I was kind of like, this is like, out of any game that I've streamed, I think that was the most where just random people would pop in. Oh, I found you on the browse page. I found you on the browse page. And I did think at the time, I wonder why that is. Maybe WoW is just a really popular game. Maybe a lot of people just looking on Twitch for people playing it. But I guess actually there probably is validity in what you say. Maybe because on the whole, you know, when you think of World of Warcraft players, you don't necessarily think small Asian girl sitting in her shed. Maybe it was people looking through the browse page and seeing someone maybe a little bit different playing the game. I don't know. But yeah, definitely, I think it was nice as well having people from a lot of different countries also coming, because I think World of Warcraft is a very global game.
Yeah.
Very, very global game. So I think that was also interesting to see that a lot of the people coming into the chat and talking about World of Warcraft, it was, I think with other games, my viewership is mainly like UK and USA. But when I was playing World of Warcraft, there were people from Croatia, a lot of people from the Netherlands, Germany, you know, like it was a bit more sort of global. Like there were more people from around the world popping in. It was quite interesting.
That's dope. That's super sick. Alright. So I said to you, Final Fantasy is my thing. Well, my other thing is The Legend of Zelda. I am a Zelda youth. Yeah, me. I love that. And Breath of the Wild it's one of the greatest Zelda experiences ever. It's like my second favorite game in the series. And it literally is an epic adventure. Like when companies say, oh yeah, you can go anywhere and do anything, like that tagline on the box, and you're like, fam, I'm not going anywhere and doing anything. I'm just following the story. But Breath of the Wild is that, like, you just get lost in doing things and you're like, raw, what's that thing in a mountain? And being able to go over to experience it. So obviously you said that you've actually watched Tony play the game, but Breath of the Wild is great because you're not following the same journey as everyone else anyway. So for example, if you was playing Uncharted, which is a very linear game, and you're literally just watching all the cutscenes and stuff, that's fine. Where with Breath of the Wild, you're being able to kind of go on your own experience. What is it about it that you loved?
Firstly, the visuals. I just think it's such a aesthetically pleasing game. Like, it's so pretty. I've got so many screenshots of sunsets and water and mountains. Like, it's so nice to look at, which is always nice. Another weird thing is a weird thing I like about it is the music. For me, it just adds to the whole like ambience of the game. It feels like really cozy, like
it's very atmospheric, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, like you say, it's just such a big game. I like that it's such a big game, and I like that it gives people the opportunity to play the game how they would play the game. For example, some people may just stick to the story and kind of go straight through the main story, whereas like I said, I'm very much like, oh, what's down here, let me explore this area, let me try and get, you know, all the seeds, and you know. So I think that's another thing. I think it gives people the opportunity to play a game how they like to play a game, and everyone experiences it slightly differently.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, the game's super special, and even today, like watching people do like mad crazy stuff in it, it blows my mind, like how they're able to achieve some of the stuff that they do in it. And it's on like a Nintendo Switch, which is like some old console, and it's still like breathtaking. All right, Simon, we're running out of time, but before you go, one thing I want to speak to you is something that's poignant that you kind of said earlier, is you didn't grow up in a gaming kind of household. That wasn't like parcel and parcel of your life. But anyone who's watching this right now is going to see your background, and it is a mazza.
Yeah.
So obviously you and your partner Tony live together, and you have this incredible gaming cabin. So how did this come about? Like, what was the reasoning? How did you even, like, you got an arcade in there, you got like, and you got another room upstairs, like you lot got some crazy gaming things, and to think you never grew up in that environment. So how did this all come about?
So growing up, whilst I didn't grow up in a gaming household, I was always kind of drawn to games. So like me and my brother, we would play Call of Duty together. I played the Tomb Raider games. I loved the Tomb Raider games. So I did play games, but obviously it just wasn't, like I said, it just wasn't a gaming household. And then obviously I met Tony. He's obviously massive gamer. And I think it got to a point where we were living together. We both enjoy games. We both play them. He already has such a massive collection and it was kind of all stored away. And I guess that's the nice thing about maybe both of us playing games. We kind of decided we wanted a space where some of the collection could be on display, because obviously I've started picking up a few bits here and there as well, and obviously I want to have them out somewhere. And also just a space where we can both comfortably like sit and play. So I think credit where credit is due. Tony built this whole thing. Like he built the cabin. He's fitted all the desks, and I guess we've both like put up the monitors and stuff together. But he's built this whole thing. But yeah, like I said, it just got to a point where we were like, we need a space where we can just dedicate it to displaying the collection, our passion, our hobby, where we can comfortably sit like together and play games and whatever. So yeah, Tony was looking online at sort of ideas, and a lot of people at the time, actually it was during lockdown, where a lot of people were making garden offices.
Yeah.
So then we thought, well, why not actually, we've got space in the garden, why not look at putting like an office in the garden? So yeah, it just kind of rolled from there, kind of like spiraled from there. We started looking into cabins. We eventually bit the bullet and bought one. It arrived in pieces. Tony built it, and then bit by bit we've like sort of over the past 2 years, I think we've had it 2 years now, we've kind of been changing bits and bits of it to kind of get it to be better and better. And I think where it's at now, we're quite happy with it.
That's dope. That's proper sick. Do you know what? I was expecting, I feel like it's not authentic because he hasn't walked in the middle of the recording. I'm like,
I thought he was going to, because when I came downstairs,
I ain't seen no food. I feel like it's not real. You haven't eaten any food. He hasn't walked in. All right, cool. I'll take the water. Summer, thank you so much for joining me. It's been proper great talking to you. Make sure you go and check her out. One of the great things she does as well is she's super dope on social media. That's how I first became aware of her. So go check out her TikTok. They're hilarious. Go and jump in the stream. Go and watch her box food. Watch Tony walking in the background. You get all of the realness. Thank you so much for staying to the end of the video. You are the MVPs. Remember, if you're listening to us on Spotify or any of them other podcast services, come over, come and show some love. Put a thumbs up on the video. Come and look at Salma's face. You get me? Come and check us out. We are here. I've been Mr. Midas. She's been Pakichu, and we out of here. Peace.